Good morning, children. Today we are going to start Geography second lesson, that is Physical Features of India. We have already learned these physical features in class 6, 7th and even 8th standard. So what do you mean by physical features? The different landforms of our country. You have learned about these physical features, but in this lesson you are going to learn little detail about these features. Okay, shall I start the lesson? You have already learned earlier that India is a vast country with varied landforms. What kind of terrain do you live in? If you live in the plains, you are familiar with the vast stretches of plain land. In contrast, if you live in hilly region, the rugged terrain with mountains and valleys are common features. In fact, our country has practically all major physical features of the earth, that is, mountains, plains, desert, plateaus and islands. So what they are explaining here is, you have already learned about these physical features. In which type of land do you live in? You are living in plain area, right? So we are very familiar with the plain land. If you are living in the hilly areas, you are very familiar with valleys and the hilly areas and the mountains. Okay. So other than this, India has plateaus, desert area, coastal plains, islands. All these are the major physical features of our country. Is it clear? The land of India displays great physical variation. Geologically, the peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient land masses on the Earth's surface. It was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks. The Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms. From the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone. The whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast-flowing rivers. The northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. The peninsular plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys. What they are explaining here, the land of India displays great physical variations. There are geological variations are there in our land, that is peninsular plateaus constitute the land masses of the earth's surface. Okay, and now the Himalayan mountains form in the unstable zone. The whole Himalayan system represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and flowing of rivers from the Himalayas. So in the northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. The peninsular plateau is composed igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys. These are all the features of the Himalayas. Now, how many divisions are there in our physiogeographic divisions? In the physical features of India can be grouped under the following physiographic divisions: the Himalayan mountain, northern plains, peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, coastal plain and the islands. First, we move on to the Himalayan mountain. See here, this is the picture of Himalayas. Okay. The Himalayas geologically young and structurally fold mountains stretch over the northern borders. See the northern borders of the these are all the borders of the Himalayas. These mountain ranges run in west to east direction from the Indus to Brahmaputra. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. They form an arc which covers the distance about 2,400 kilometers. Their width varies from 400 kilometers in the Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. What they have explained here, See, these mountain ranges run from west to east. That is west. Which one they are telling? From west direction from the Indus river. Here you can see the Indus. Can you see this? Indus river to till here Brahmaputra is here. Okay, from here to here the 2400 kilometers with the width of 400 kilometers of width. The length, the distance from here to here is 2400 kilometers. In Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. From here Kashmir to here for just 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Is it clear? From west it is Indus and then east it is Brahmaputra. Is it clear? So next, the altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half of than those in western half. See the altitude. What do you mean by altitude? Height of the place. Okay. See the altitude of the Himalayas greater eastern half than those in western half. See here in the western it is little bit higher than the eastern one. Is it clear? Next, the Himalayan consists of 3 parallel ranges longitudinal extent, a number of valleys between these ranges. See, many valleys are here. Understood? That I will read out next. Many valleys are here in the Himalayas. Okay, in the northernmost range is known as Great Himalaya or Inner Himalaya or the Himadri. Here, see here, Great Himalaya. You can see here, right? See, this is Great Himalaya. This is also called as Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of loftiest peak with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all prominent Himalayan peaks. That means this Himadri is there, no? Great Himalayas are there, no? That is the height of this Himalayas is 6,000 meters. It contains prominent Himalayan peaks. See, this is look like a arch. Arch, you know, no? This look like a arch only. See, here they have given some highest peaks of Himalayas. See, Mount Everest, we can see here Mount Everest. Have you seen here? You can see here, right? Mount Everest. It is in Nepal. Okay, it is in Nepal. The height of the Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. Is it clear? This is Mount Everest. It is in Nepal. The height of the Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. And in Kanchenjunga, it is in India. See here it is Kanchenjunga. It is in India. The height of this Kanchenjunga is 8,598 meters. Is it clear? This one 8,848. That is, it is the highest peak in the world. And this is Kanchenjunga. It is highest peak in India. That is 8,598 meters. And next we move on to the Makalu. It is in Nepal, 8,481. Okay, Makalu, it is in Nepal, 8,481. And in Dhaulagiri, Nepal, 8,172. Understood? Dhaulagiri is in Nepal, it is 8,100. See here, Makalu is here. See, Dhaulagiri is here. Is it clear? This is Dhaulagiri. It is in Dhaulagiri is in Nepal, 8,172. And in Nanga Parbat also you can see here. Okay, Nanga Parbat. That's the height of the Nanga Parbat is 8,126. See, Makalu is here. Okay, and Dhaulagiri is here. And Nanda Devi is here. Comet is here. Okay, and then this next is Dhaula Hills is here. And next is Annapurna and Nepal. Annapurna, it is here only, see. Annapurna, it is in Nepal. Understood? That height of the Annapurna is 8,078. And next is Nanda Devi. See, it is here Nanda Devi. The height of the peak is, it is in India. That is 7,870. Here it is Comet. Here I showed, now. Comet. Here. This Comet is, that is 7,756. And Namcha Barwa, India, 7,756. that is 7,756. Okay, next is here, Namcha Bharwa. Is it clear? This is 7,756. And next is Gurla Mandata, that is Nepal, 7,728. Durla, that is 7,728. Is it clear? These are all the hilly areas, that is Himalaya peaks, highest peaks of the Himalayas. The folds of the great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. The core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. It is perennially snow-bound and a number of glaciers descend from this range. We can see the glaciers in this region. Is it clear? Next, the range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system and is known as Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500. See, Himachal is here only now. Himachal. So this was different. So that altitude is 3,700 to 4,500. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. The Dauladhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. This range consists of the famous valley of Kashmir. The Kangra and Kulu valley is in Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for its hill stations. Kulu and Manali, you have heard about all those things, I believe. That is very famous for their hill stations. Even in Kashmir valley, that is also very famous. Kangar is also very famous. These are all the hilly areas. It is the very famous in the hilly areas, that is in the Himalayan mountains. Is it clear? Shall we go to next? The outermost range of Himalayas is called Shivalik. See, outer range of Himalayas are called as Shivalik. Okay. The outermost range of Himalaya is called Shivalik. It is extended over width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 to 1000 meters. See, here it is Shivalik. Have you seen this here? Shivalik range. This is 10 to 15 kilometers altitude varying between the 900 and 1100 kilometers. Meters. These ranges are composed and unconsolidated sediments brought down the rivers from the main Himalayas ranges located farther north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as duns. Dehra Dun, Kotli Dun and Patli Dun are some of the well-known duns here. See, here in the Shivalik, here it is a Shivalik range is there, no? Shivalik mountains are there, no? In that, some of the rivers, they are from the Himalayan ranges. It is located in the almost in the north only. So many of the rivers are flowing from the north, that we know already, right? So these valleys covered with thick gravel of alluvium. See, these valleys are covered with alluvium, and the longitudinal valley lying between the Lesser Himalayas, see here, the Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik are known as, these are all called as duns. Okay, in duns also they have different, that is Dehra Dun, Kotli Dun and Patli Dun are some of the well-known duns laying in the Shivalik mountains. Is it clear? Shall we move on to the next? Besides the longitudinal divisions, the Himalayas have been divided on the basis of regions from the west to east. These divisions have been demarcated by the river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between the Indus and the Sutlej has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya, but it is known as regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from the west to the east respectively. See, from the longitudinal division, this one, the long division, the Himalayas have been divided on the basis of regions from west to east. See this division from the west to east. This side is west and this side is east. Is it clear? So these divisions have been demarcated by the river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between the Indus and Sutlej. See, this is Indus and this is Sutlej. The part of Himalaya lying in the Indus and Sutlej has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalayas because it is very close to the Punjab, right? So it is called as Punjab Himalayas. And the Kashmir and the regional as Kashmir and Himalaya west to east respectively. So Himalaya, but is also known as regionally as Kashmir and the Himalaya from west to east. So it is also called as Himalaya west to respectively. The part of the Himalayas lying between the Sutlej and Kali rivers is known as Kumaon Himalayas. From the Sutlej river, here it is Sutlej river, and the Kali river, between this they are called as Kumaon. There are regional names in these broad categories and find region's name of the Himalayas. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. We can see Brahmaputra here, isn't it? This is the easternmost boundary of Himalayas. Still here we can see that Himalayas are there. So it is the eastern boundary of the Himalayas, Brahmaputra. Beyond the Dhangar, the Himalaya bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. See, from here it will short bend is there here, so that they are known as Purvachal or the eastern hills of mountains. So it is called as Purvachal or eastern mountains. Is it clear? These hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones, which are sedimentary rocks. Covered with dense forest, they mostly run as a parallel ranges and valleys. The Purvachal comprises the Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills and the Mizo Hills. See, after this Brahmaputra, that was the vast area which is spread over to the valleys and the rocks, and even if they come down to the parallel ranges, that is forest areas also will be there here. Okay, so the Purvachal comprises the Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills and Mizo Hills. These are all the hill stations we can see from the eastern side. Is it clear? Now we move on to the northern plain. Northern plains have been formed by the interplay of the three major rivers systems, namely Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. The deposition of alluvial in a vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalayas over millions of years formed this fertile plain. See, the northern plain has been formed by the interplay of the three major river system. What are those three major rivers is Indus, Ganga as usual you know, and next is Brahmaputra. So these three rivers mainly and their tributaries are in the northern India. So these plains form the alluvial soil. The deposition of the alluvial is a vast basin lying in the foothills of the Himalayas. The rivers are flowing through the Himalayas. It deposited the alluvial in their basins. Himalayam over millions of years formed the fertile plain. So because of this alluvial soil, deposit of alluvial, so this land is very fertile. It spread over the area of 7 lakh square kilometers, the plain being the 2400 long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad. That means it spread this 7 lakh square kilometers. The area of the plain land of an area 7 lakh square kilometer, the plain being about 2400 kilometers long and the 240 to 320 in the width. Okay, long it is 2400 and this width is 240 to 320. With a rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate, it is agriculturally a productive part of India. These rivers are flowing from the Himalayas, so the alluvial is deposited in this basin. So this land is very fertile to grow for agriculture. So this 7 lakh square kilometer of area of land is suitable for growing crops. Okay. So this was adequate water supply, favorable water, because it has irrigation land. Always rivers are there. So near the rivers, the agricultural land is more agricultural land. We can see that one. So in the same way, the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, these three lands, their basins are completely deposited with the alluvial. So that land is very fertile. These 7 lakh square kilometers of area is suitable for growing crops. Okay, this is agriculturally productive part of our country. Is it clear? Shall we continue in the next class? Okay, thank you children.